all-new Kia Seltos all-wheel drive. According to sources close to LeBron, his competitiveness can be oppressive, overwhelming, and antisocial. The source also told True Hoops' Henry Abbott that LeBron, quote, struggles to be around the normally motivated, gets impatient with those who don't work as hard as he does, and has little tolerance for mistakes. So, Shannon, what does this tell you?
It tells me what I already knew. That's how all the all-time greats are wired, Skip. They can't understand why someone else can't do what they do. They don't realize that's what makes you unique. Only you can do it and make it look easy. Michael Jordan got so upset. Bruh, you might. Kobe got upset. Kobe, bruh, everybody can't do this. Skip, and I think all the greats, because I think the thing that made John Elway and play with Ray, I think the thing that why we got along so well, they knew that I was equally as invested as they were. I put as much time into my craft as they put into theirs. And what great players don't like, if, okay, you're not as talented, but if they don't see you working hard, it's going to be a problem. And I think LeBron looks at it, and LeBron, see, Skip, great players' legacy are affected more by other players. See, when JR did what he did, that didn't affect Kevin Love. That didn't affect Tristan Thompson. That don't affect JR. Kyrie losing, that doesn't affect Kyrie's legacy. The greats are affected, are impacted. And he says, hold on. You have so much control on how people view me, and you're not going to put the time, you're not going to invest like I'm investing. Yeah, that would bother him. That I can totally see LeBron being rubbed by people not giving it maximum effort, by people not investing in their body, in the gym like he does. And it can become a problem, Skip, and we've talked about this a lot. The greater the player, the harder it is for him to pick talent, because he's like, man, why can't you do that? That is so easy. Look at Skip, Michael. He's still struggling. He tried to pick talent with the Wizards. He couldn't do it. He's in Charlotte. He couldn't do it. You look at Isaiah. Isaiah's with the Knicks. People don't realize, Skip, Isaiah Thomas was with the Knicks, and he couldn't build it.
Nope.
Normally, it's the players that weren't very good or just average that do a great job of picking talent, with the one exception with Jerry West. He's the one exception. But you look at guys like
I think Larry Bird has been something up in his
he did
Go
good.
ahead. Yeah.
He was unbelievable. But Skip, when you look at R.C. Buford and you look at the guys that are doing these teams, they're like, how you pick the,
R.C. Buford, walk-on college football player.
Now, Tim Duncan, I'm going to say Tim Duncan aside, because everybody was going to take Tim Duncan number one. So you don't get to, but you find a Kawhi Leonard, and you get Tony Parker, and you get the Manu Ginobili's, and you get those guys like that. Skip, when you start picking on down in the draft, Skip, you get top 2, top 3 picks. Come on. I ain't getting nobody no credit for picking LeBron. You don't get no credit for picking Magic Johnson, Kareem like that. But when you start getting the Kawhis, and you get the Tony Parkers, or you go and you find the Klay Thompsons, okay, now I'm going to give you some credit. But Skip, I'm not surprised. And I just think the thing is because I think people look at LeBron as being a nice guy. And people like Kobe ain't nice, Michael ain't nice. And so they have this perception of what they think LeBron is. But behind the scenes, he's just as competitive and driven, and gets just as upset when he doesn't feel guys are carrying their weight and he sees what they're doing, not to add to the pot.
Okay, now back to reality. Here we go again. This was LeBron's answer to The Last Dance.
Oh, my God.
This was a LeBron confidant planting a story right on schedule, right here on the day of the restart. Welcome back game. Thank you, God, we got our basketball back. And some confidant close to LeBron James is planting the story that he's every bit the demanding, cold-blooded taskmaster, the leader, the maker of men that we saw Michael Jordan be in the Last Dance documentary. And we're hearing that LeBron is oppressive, that LeBron is overwhelming, that LeBron is even antisocial. And I'm saying, what? That's the biggest bunch of baloney I have ever read.
Why did Kyrie want to lead in?
Well, where did this come from? Somebody, what's the quote here? A source who knows LeBron very well. Okay.
It wasn't me.
It'd be close to you. I'm pretty sure. My best guess, this came from Rich Paul. It might have come from Maverick Carter. These men are brilliant at what they do. They have genius in image making. They don't just control the LeBron narrative, they invent the LeBron narrative. And that's what they did here to fight back The Last Dance, which was a crushing blow to LeBron James' legacy, especially in the leadership vein. Because remember what David Blatt said in the middle of the documentary? He said that Michael Jordan was all about the us, not about the I. And he obviously coached LeBron James. Remember what Mike Malone said? That he coached LeBron for 5 years, an assistant in Cleveland. And Mike Malone said, no, they don't compare because Michael Jordan was the cold-blooded killer who would reach inside your chest and rip your heart out to win a basketball game.
He was like that the first 5 years of his career?
Yeah, he was. And he won a lot of games. He scared the hell out of the Boston Celtics.
No, he didn't scare him. He didn't scare him.
Yeah, they called him, what, Jesus and sneakers?
They called him to go home. Stop that, Skip. You can see, here's the thing, Skip. Everybody compares LeBron. They look at LeBron's early career as opposed to when Jordan was winning titles. And it's like, oh, Michael, he was just reaching in. So why didn't he take Larry Bird and McHale's heart? Why didn't he take the Sidney Moncrief and Junior Bree? Why didn't he take their heart?
Well,
why didn't he take the Pistons' heart?
He scared them to where they about had a heart attack because he was so difficult. They could not stop him, but those teams were awful around Michael. He needed a little bit of help. He needed a Scotty. He needed, obviously, some sort of Rodman. He needed somebody to help him a little bit. And all they were was the greatest defensive team I have ever seen in 1998.
So LeBron didn't scare anybody. He scared the Golden State Warriors so much, they went and got a 7-foot assassin. They had one of their guys go out there in the parking lot with a towel on, cry after Game 7, but he didn't scare anybody. Did he not scare after what he did to the bad boy Pistons too? He made the Boston Celtics go trade for KG, go get Ray Allen, because Paul Pierce was a lie. He was not the truth until he got with them.
Michael Jordan put the fear of God in his teammates. You saw it. You got to see it live and on tape, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's not this guy. This guy is too nice of a guy. No. This guy is more about himself than about his team. This guy is more about he needs the credit and he wants none of the blame, and it's always credit, blame. Michael Jordan didn't care about credit or blame.
That's not true.
He cared about winning.
Skip, hold on, wait a minute. He didn't want Doug Collins to get fired because the triangle offense was coming and it was about moving the ball. He resisted. Did we not watch the same Last Dance?
He just wanted to win championships.
Oh, that's not, no.
Yeah, he did.
No. That's not what he said. That's not what he said. He said, I wanted the ball. He said, I want the ball in my hands late in the ball game as opposed to Bill Cartwright, as opposed to this one. That's what he said.
Well, that's how he won. He won 6 MVPs and 6 championships. What happened in the ultimate Game 6 at Utah? What happened? He just said, get out of my way. He scored 45 points. His teammates scored 44. That's the closeout Game 6. And he held the pose on Byron Russell. Remember that?
Yeah, I do, Skip. I'm not debating that. All I'm saying is that we look at these guys different when they're more alike as far as makeup. Okay, you want to say LeBron is not the scorer, or he doesn't have the ferocity or the look of all that other stuff, but they're more alike internally than we previously thought, Skip, because all great players are wired a certain way. And Skip, you don't realize that you're so much more. Skip, when I was in high school and can do things, I didn't look, but I was like, well, damn, I'm the only one on my football team that got a high school scholarship. They got a college scholarship. And then I go to college and I go to I'm the only one that go play in the NFL. And then it dawns on you. And then when I get to the NFL, I'm like, well, shit, excuse me. Everybody, it was great in high school and great in college. Why y'all can't do this?
Okay, you're wired way differently than 23 is wired. You were wired closer to Jordan than he is wired to Jordan.
I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't think so. I really don't.
This guy, in Game 1, what was it, 2018?
Oh, did you?
Well, you brought it up, the J.R. Smith play. Yes, you did. He just said, I don't want to associate with these guys. They were tied with Golden State going to overtime, and he sits a seat apart from his team as if to distance himself socially and emotionally distance himself from his team.
Now everybody gonna be 2 seats apart now. What's gonna be the excuse now?
Yeah, well, you know what he did. And then he pouted, and then
he did not.
He quit on his team. He wouldn't even take a shot for 2.5 minutes of overtime
there was no shot
until they were down 7 points before he took a shot.
Skip.
Scored 2 points in overtime.
Skip.
He quit.
Skip.
You know it, and I know it. That's so opposite. That's un-Jordan-esque.
They came to get the ball out of his hand. You knew that. I know that.
What had they been doing the whole game? He'd scored, what, 49 points?
Right.
In regulation?
And they say, you know what? If somebody else goes off and beat us, we can live with that. We're just not going to allow 23 to get hot in overtime and beat us after we fought back in this game. Skip, look, you and I both know. Nobody's talking about D Wade. I mean, D Wade was a great player, but when like LeBron's legacy is impacting more. Jordan's legacy, Bird, Magic, these guys' legacies are impacting more. You know that, Skip.
Just don't try to sell me that he's a heartless, profane tyrant when it comes to leading his team.
Skip, leaders come in many different shapes. The great leaders understand. Okay, you think Coach Belichick talked to Lawrence Taylor like he talked to Tom Brady?
Well, he wasn't the head coach yet. I think he's talked to a lot of great players in New England that way.
You think Bill Parcells talked to Lawrence Taylor like he talked to everybody else? He called Terry Glenn sheep. You think he ever said that to Lawrence Taylor? Absolutely not. You have to understand, as a leader.
I don't know that for sure. I don't know that.
You know LT. You know LT.
Well, it was hard to criticize his performance.
You know.